Okay, Sheikh Dwayne Buffalo Islam. How are you today? I am well. I just got to taking a shower. I do spiritual baths, and a lot of times I include you in my spiritual showers because I think it's important. And the reason why I'm gonna start off with I'm at Extended Stay America, 120 Admiral Cochrane Drive in Arrington-Bey. Your wife. Hold on, make sure this is turned all the way up. I just got out the shower, washed my hair. Um, it is February 27, 2023. Many times I include you, Sheikh Dwayne Buffalo, in my spiritual baths because I am your wife. Now, the reason why I say I'm your wife is not because of what you do or do not do, okay? It's not because of that. Because that I don't think that identifies a wife. Truth does identify a wife, Islam. And when you are focusing, or I am focusing on truth, it will reveal itself and all the accountabilities that go along with it, Islam. So I remember how you constantly kept saying what happens in the ethers identifies truth. So in reference to especially when I would like tweet you, this is when before you decide to go private about being your wife. It's like, and then Morris kept saying, believe, you got to have faith, so you really got to know. It can be a challenge to know what truth is when so many external forces are around trying to remove truth from your world, especially when there are those that are supposed to uphold natural law have an agenda. Those who don't care about natural law have an agenda, and they come together on one agenda because the main agenda was a knowledgeable agenda of attacking natural laws, which consist of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. So the reason why I'm doing this, I'm going to just tell you what I experience a lot of times here in Extended Stay on a spiritual level. Because the spiritual plane identifies, definitely trickles into the physical plane many times. And the mind is powerful. So when you're dealing with unclean, unnatural spirits who have been predators for a long time, predators for an extremely long time. What I'm saying is the mental predators. So mental predators are those that have been planting thoughts. When people were diagnosed with schizophrenia, Moors, I'm referring to Moors and non-Moors, are diagnosed with schizophrenia, paranoid schizophrenia, and other mental illnesses. And one of the symptoms were, I hear voices in my head. I hear voices in my head. They won't go away. Doctors and pharmaceutical companies made a lot of money. They made a lot of money. And they made a lot of money because they put the patient on medication. So if we look back to know when the word schizophrenia came about and mental illness, and hearing the different people or different testimonies of the inhabitants of upon earth, or different beings saying, I hear voices in my head. I hear voices in my head. And they seem, then all of a sudden they see someone, they like, you Satan, you're Satan, get away from me, Satan. And they start flipping out, and they like, what is it? Just not able to cope. They're not able to cope. Then they're trying to sleep. As they sleeping, they seeing visuals. The genitals might be in attack. They might be spiritually raped, spiritually molested. This, I'm saying, over 100 years of these acts. Over 100 years of these acts being done. And what I'm saying is, Sheik Dwayne Bathel Bay, the same predators that's doing it now, they did it then. So whether it was foreigners from China that was making lots of money from it, from pharmaceutical, Russia, Japan, or other foreign companies, or Korea, or whether foreign nations that might have I don't know, I'm just giving a hypothetical. I'm just calling out nations that are known to be superpower. North Korea, South Korea, Vietnam, South Vietnam, North Vietnam, whoever that has been profiting from this blood money, because that's exactly what it is, blood money. They still profit from it. But the only thing different is with the telepathic code that has been distributed to many. I'm not saying every single one. I'm thinking global. Once again, global means, if I say global and I'm saying too many, I can't give a number, because global, how many people, but I know that it exists, and I know that it exists in Annapolis. So I don't accuse anyone individually. And when I say that, I'm saying I don't accuse anyone individually. So what I'm saying is, the same corporates were unclean spirits that were making blood money over 100 years ago, over 200 years ago, through mental illnesses that really weren't. They were acts of terrorism, acts of mental engagements, because of unclean spirits learning how to invade the mind. Still making money now. They just normalized it through the telepathic code. So the black Negro, that's unclean, unnatural, and abomination spirit, male and female, a form of it existed over 100 years ago, probably over 200 years ago, and was used then and still used now. The same with that which is Mongoloid, that speaks Spanish, or those that don't speak Spanish but of that Mongoloid strand, and pale skin. It's blood money. The only difference is that they have decided, they knew they were going to do it. So they normalized it by distributing the telepathic code to people, so that, and then create a rule to go with the telepathic code to justify who is free, who is not free, what jurisdiction this person is in, what jurisdiction this person is not in, to justify a transformation of beings. So the telepathic code is just one code, C-O-D-E, one code that possibly have a high probability of transforming beings, Moors and non-Moors, into a lower form of frequency. Because when you are dealing with something that's outside of natural law, that is man-made, artificially made, and then they create a rule that's dealing with the lower self, with lower self behavior, lower self thoughts, and then they try to keep a few in a privy or privileged status, as though, and they might have they have the code too, but to show a difference in status by showing, for example, some Moors that are high officials, I'm giving an example, have the telepathic code, and they know science, they're educated, they have their status, they really living free, like you, Sheik Dwayne Bathel Bay, living very free, able to, just walk around, and if they choose to, be involved in that world of the telepathic code if they choose not to. Maybe some of them. And maybe some of them don't have a choice. They just choose to go along with the telepathic code rules because they have the code. They have the code. So if they have the code, then they might have to go along with the rules anyway. They might feel like they might have signed their name on that dotted line in blood saying, I choose to go along with the rules and excuse or discredit some form of natural law to keep some form of peace, or which is not really peace, some form of peace, or some form of what you want to say, agreement with this unclean abomination spirits that have existed for far too long. Could be, I'm just giving out 100, 200 years. I'm saying, but ancient times, these are unclean, and these are unclean, unnatural spirits that had to have waited for the frequency of planet Earth to be low enough to invade and start transforming slowly, transforming the inhabitants, paying attention to those that were coming through the cosmic hole that had the potential to raise the frequency of planet Earth, because the higher the frequency of planet Earth goes, they will not be able to exist. Because in a high frequency of planet Earth, or upon planet Earth, is of a high frequency of natural law, which consists of freedom. Okay? So I'm getting back. So if you are more and you have the telepathic code that they gradually started to distribute slowly or quickly, or however they wanted to start doing it to normalize its existence, and then you go along with playing that telepathic code rule, you have literally cursed yourself. Because if you have the telepathic code, you are able to tune in, and you know the history of mental illness. And you know the history of those who have profited from mental illness. You might even know exactly which nation, which foreign entity profited the most, or which ones profited from mental illness and transforming beings. So you have literally submitted or subjugated yourself to a curse that you might not ever be able to come up from. Now that is something to think about. So what I'm getting, now I'm experiencing a thought. So what I do is study my thoughts. I study thoughts and I study my mind. So you have different compartments of your mind that helps you visualize. Okay? Unclean, unnatural spirits can definitely invade and replicate visuals, because they're trying to demonstrate power or a forced invasion to be a right of theirs. So if they can replicate a visual of what you were visualizing authentically, and they replicate the exact same visual, and then you might hear, I'm just giving an example, unclean unclean spirit inside a body that's African American, black, Negro, male and female, or female, say brother paid, or that which is Mongoloid that speaks Spanish from South Central America, Mexico, I paid. The pale skin saying 3, along with the rest of them, we paid. And you thinking, oh my goodness, I can't visualize anymore. Nothing I do is real anymore. So what they're trying, so an unclean, unnatural spirit which have been doing this for a long time. This is just I am one out of possibly, I'm just going to say I am able to speak about on a spiritual level and mental level. So what they're doing is trying to normalize what a replication of the invasion of your mind, first of all, different departments of your mind and thoughts, your intellect, and then replicate visuals and then make it seem as though they have a right to do so. So is that not the same as actually transforming someone through DNA and gene manipulation? So if you're dealing with DNA and gene manipulation, where you are experimenting with fetuses, injecting fetuses with dog DNA, ape DNA, cat DNA, bird DNA. Like I said, people here, I was like, what is the bird man? I'm seeing these feathers, and the Mongoloid looking at me. The black Negro said, give her to the bird. Let the bird eat it, or let the bird have it. I mean, literally, and look towards me. If I say look, some of them definitely look like they're looking at me. Usually, this is in the past, like a truck of Mongoloid look from South Central America, Mexico, of males will be somewhere close, or they'll just look at me as I would see these feathers on my path to work. Or hear the Mongoloid say werewolf, or hear African American black Negro males and females saying brother, like an animal, or the tablet or electronic devices start behaving odd, whether it's the air conditioner or a refrigerator. Seem like you have a thought. This is an example. I have experienced this, but oddly, you wake up, all of a sudden the air conditioner just go off. So if what is the difference in gene and DNA manipulations of laboratory experiments, lab freaks, so in that which, if they are able to invade different departments of your mind, replicating visuals, because it has to start somewhere. Or cloning someone. So the real person is gone. They probably take. So this is an example. I remember some Moors would speak about Rwanda. I'm going to use this thought. Some Moors would speak about Rwanda, and they said I'm using a thought right now, experience of thought. I'm pretty sure it's because when you're dealing with on a spiritual level, I'm pretty sure a black Negro male is plotting a thought, because I'm dealing with thoughts. So thoughts and spirituality I can see on different planes, but 9 times out of 10 it's one of the filthy, unclean, abomination blacks that are plotting the thoughts, because you have so nonetheless, moving forward, and I know you know what I'm talking about. Sheep Dwayne Baffour-Bey, my Moorish American nation and family. So some Moors would speak about Rwanda and the genocide that happened in Rwanda, and they would speak about how what happened. They were saying what happened to all those pineal glands, because the pineal gland is supposed to be the gateway to many aspects of your spirituality. And they were saying that the pale skin, or those that are close or in that category, they have a calcified pineal gland. So here I am among those that speak Spanish, and the blacks, the African American black Negro, saying we need it. They saying we need it way before a pale skin say it. African American, and then they look towards my way. So I'm saying African American black Negroes on the physical plane. On the physical plane. Okay, Sheik Dwayne Baffle Bay. Mongoloid. Look like they're representing South Central America. Mexico, saying we need it. More so than the pale skin. So being among, knowing that we are among those that definitely speak about cloning. Okay? So if you are cloned body, what happened to the first part, the original form of you? So a clone body or a robot might not have a active pineal gland, might not be able to harmonize on a high frequency. It can't. It's not might. It can't. It's a clone on a high frequency in natural law and magic and so forth. So one of the biggest trickeries I see is thinking because someone is melanated that they have the same potential to do and be on a high frequency as you do, as a natural divine celestial being, and they don't. But this kind of melanated, unclean, unnatural species that implements bondage have existed over, I'm going to say, I say 100, 200 years, but I'm saying a long time. I'm just giving that number out. And they have been a part of profiting from mental illness. Mental illness. Helping the pharmaceutical companies make money that knows about spirituality, mentalism, and so forth. How to bring that which is unseen to the physical plane. How to manipulate sound. It's blood money. And this blood money has been circling around the globe for a long time. So as a Moor, and you as a Moor who participate or imply to or have done different actions in reference to the so-called telepathic rule, and in reference to or implying that you are in some form of agreement saying peace, I don't think, when I say as a Moor, I'm saying if a Moor does this, I don't think that Moor truly know the curse that goes along with it. Because sometimes I think Moors who are able to manifest think they're going to manifest their way out of accountability. I'm just going to manifest my way out of accountability. Look who I am. Look who I am. I'm just going to manifest. I'm educated. I have my status. I am a free Moor. I'll manifest everything I need. But I'm telling you, Sheik Dwayne Baffle Bay, that's not the case. So getting back to being your wife. I'm not saying I'm your wife because I'm crazy. I'm saying I'm your wife because of the acts that was done to make me your wife. And I'm saying that I was your wife and had planned, and it was planned for me to be your wife this day and time. Years, lifetimes ahead. Lifetimes before. I was doing lifetimes before. But what I'm doing is implementing truth. See, through truth, there is justice. And I'm going to stay humble so truth can continue to talk to me. Now, just because I experienced such experiences doesn't make me less than your wife. As I see it, as a celestial being who's relearning, I'm supposed to be strengthening myself mentally, spiritually, and physically. There's a plan for me that I already knew, and I'm walking in that plan. That's what my spirit is telling me. There's a reason why natural law, cosmic natural law, is here from these lips, from this tongue, constantly. There's a reason why I am serious about implementing it. There's a reason why I don't have the telepathic code. It's because I knew lifetimes before. I saw ahead. So, and I'm not saying that because I don't think every Moor who has done evil deeds through the telepathic code cannot be redeemed or have redemption. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, Sheikh Dwayne Baffoe, is there's too many who are stuck in their lower self. And I pray for you because I saw something where I didn't think you can see for yourself. And I keep saying in humility because Spirit is just telling me to pray for you. Pray for you and don't walk in fear. Don't walk in fear.